Hey, this is David Kohlmeyer, the problem solver. Thanks so much for joining us today, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Cox Cable, every single week, trying to solve some problems, talk about some different topics that are going on throughout the world these days. Today I have a great co-host, Laura Powers.
Thanks for having me.
Laura is a celebrity psychic and always sharing some great information and her using her ability here, so we appreciate Laura being here. And Danny Miner, the crime solver, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Dave. Another great week.
And then we have a special guest, Vicki Greco, who is helping people in the community with a business and nonprofit. Thanks, Vicki, for joining us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
So Vicki's going to talk a little bit about how she's helping people. She's got a great nonprofit. And she's got a business that she's also helping people in the community in many different ways. But I wanted to do a quick update in regards to some major things that have happened, this week. Danny, give us a little bit of update in regards to the quadruple homicide over in Idaho that everyone's following.
Well, right now, the latest update, they're looking for a white Hyundai Elantra, okay, between the years of 2013 and 2015. I have no idea why they're looking for this, but I would say they got some kind of break, some kind of lead. You know how it is in police work, Dave. They didn't just come up with this car. Somebody told them after 3 weeks to start looking for this car. So my guess is maybe the suspect's car.
And we're going to show it on TV now as well, that the actual car, and I believe there was a news release from the Moscow Police Department. So we're going to showcase that car. So if anyone sees that, and the truth is, since we're in neighboring states, you never know if that car comes to Vegas. People do go to neighboring states. Normally people go to California. What's interesting about Idaho is that we're very close, right? They come to Las Vegas if they want to start going south, for some reason, I feel these days no one goes north to Canada if they commit a crime. Everyone's going south. Would you agree with that?
I agree. Yes.
Is it hard because it's harder to get to Canada?
Yeah.
It's warmer weather in general. So anyway, if anyone sees this particular vehicle, please call 911, 311, any information, share. Again, we have through the Crime Solver, which is a new initiative that we're doing, we have 1-833-TIPS cash as well. If anyone has any tip information specifically about the murder in Idaho, again, we're following it because it's just such a crazy story, and we really want to get justice for those 4 victims that are in Idaho. The other thing going on this week, are you familiar with what's going on in regards to Russia? They did like a swap.
Yeah, I totally heard about it with Brittany Griner.
Yeah, tell us, what was the reason why Brittany was specifically in jail in Russia? I get a little bit confused myself because I always feel it's just a small amount.
Listen, here's the things. People are really making this controversial because of some of the things she did. Are you familiar with her at all? She knelt during the national anthem. She made statements against our country, and people were mad at her. But this is the way I look at it, believe it or not, Dave. I look at it this way. We're all Americans, okay? Why we live in America, we have the right to say how we feel, okay? So she's an American, and I believe we did the right thing to get her back. This girl was arrested for marijuana, for a vape pipe. That's it. And they're going to give her 10 years. It's not right. I don't agree with everything she did politically, but I agree that we should have got her out of there because she does not deserve to be in a Russian jail for 10 years for marijuana.
I wouldn't probably wish that on almost anybody.
I'm actually, I've been following a little bit, but I'm surprised that she's getting out because it just seemed like she's stuck. I think she got sentenced to 8 years. Yeah. You followed all, Vicki, or not at all?
No, I don't watch the news.
You're probably better off. I mean, just close your eyes. You probably live in a better world. But I think she was sentenced for 8 years, right, for this small amount.
I think it was 10, but maybe 8.
But it was a marijuana vape.
That was it.
Yeah,
a vape amount in her bag.
But do you feel because it's us supporting, Ukraine, that's the reason why they wanted to stick it to this girl?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, they did a swap. Now, today is Tuesday. So on Thursday, she actually got on a plane and she's supposedly coming home. So my question to you is, supposedly, it says that it was a Russian felon that we have here. I think he did about 15 years in jail, the guy. But they call him the Merchant of Death, which doesn't seem like a really good nickname to have in society.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
But basically, I guess the question is, do you think the swap is good or bad? But someone was saying that he.
Well, here's the thing. There's a Marine in jail over in Russia. Okay. And they're like, why didn't they get the Marine out too? That's the controversy to think. I agree with getting her out, but why is the Marine still in there too? I understand.
And I also don't know why we actually negotiate with terrorists.
Saying that they're,
Yeah.
Well, I just think I'm shocked that she's out personally, and I guess the whole swap thing, someone was saying like the guy did 15 years in jail. She did like 8 months in jail. So like it's a decent swap. But I mean, everyone's a little bit different in regards to the situation. I'm just reading here a little bit as well.
I can't imagine the trauma she went to being in a Russian jail.
She seems happy, with the picture that basically when she got out.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Prison in general.
I'm sure that's going to be a movie.
The question is there like a learning lesson to whether it's other celebrities or other people that go to these other countries?
Don't bring marijuana.
Yeah, you gotta be really careful.
Drugs in many countries. It's so risky.
Yes.
Same thing in China. It's like, just don't do it.
And listen, we got to learn from this. Legalize marijuana federally. It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous.
The problem is like going to another country. I think the learning lesson is check your bags, like all your zippered bags before you start going to Thailand or some other country like Russia.
Yeah.
And especially when Russia's at war with the Ukraine, it's like maybe that's not the best place for Americans to be right now.
Well, she was working there. They playing the basketball league
yeah.
over there because they don't get paid enough here in the United States, so they have to go over there.
I think it's also because it's sad to say women, like women basketball, like it's not as big it is
Right.
that, you know.
And I saw a man who I believe is Caucasian, maybe not, but not dark skinned, looked a bit lighter skinned, and dark hair, I would say probably brown, with a beard, and he had his hair, he wasn't like bald or anything, and a bit heavy set, not like really heavy set, but a bit heavy set is the impression that I had. And then I also saw a vehicle that I think is either a black SUV or maybe a truck. That was the impression that I was getting.
And basically just you think that it may be someone involved in this particular case, but
Yeah.
you're not sure why.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just saw that as an impression.
Okay, we appreciate that update in general. It'll be interesting
Yeah.
to see what comes play out, and we can maybe share that information with Moscow
Let's just hope
as well.
they find somebody here, Dave. It's horrible.
Yes. So, Vicki, jumping into your situation, I know that you're doing great things with your nonprofit. Tell us about your nonprofit and how you're helping people.
I have, thanks for having me again. And I have a nonprofit called the Frankie Foundation. Frankie was my brother. He died in a car accident with my mother when he was 8 years old. My mom was 36. And a few days before Frankie died, he was asked by his teacher in a project, if you were to die tomorrow, how would you want people to remember you? And all the other kids were saying, I'm a rock star, I'm a movie star. And Frankie said, I am happy. And so we have the Frankie Foundation to help people that are dealing with death and trauma that don't have resources or understand how to find the resources. We will help people find the resources to get them help. We're an intermediary. I don't really take donations, anything like that at this point. Right now, we work with placing people into situations that can actually get them the help and find the resources that when they're dealing with that immediate trauma, they don't know they have.
So, is it you're working with therapists, or how does that work? Like, if someone contacts you, there's an issue.
I will work with Adam's Place, for example. Best nonprofits always align with other nonprofits. Adam's Place actually has a lot of counselors and things like that. So we work with Adam's Place and several other nonprofits. Some therapists that are paid. Depends on their insurance. So I don't have like a streamlined, this is how you have to get fixed. I will get to know the person, get to know their needs, and then I have resources to place them with getting their needs met.
One thing that's interesting, you said that there's no set, like policy or protocol, which when you have these unusual, situations where people need help, sometimes you need to find different resources. Just like myself as a problem solver, people call me and they say, look, it's a little bit of a game, your situation. You may have to call 2-3 different attorneys. You may have to call a nonprofit. You may have to call the police a few times. You may have to keep logs. You may have to go back to court. Like, it's a little bit of a game. Just understand, you got to keep on moving and taking action in order to make a difference in your life or your situation. And I think that's what comes down to, is that a lot of people in nonprofits.
A lot of the times when a child loses a loved one, a parent or a sibling, the parent or the sibling is actually going through their own trauma, and sometimes the child gets left behind. And so we really try to work with that. But I mean, if there was a child of trauma that's now 45 and they came to me for help, I wouldn't turn them away. I would find them help that they need. But people want to have to be helped to accept help.
Absolutely. There's tons of nonprofits in town. It's interesting because I feel like people say, I want to start a nonprofit. I know you're involved in helping people start nonprofits, but don't you feel there's so many nonprofits in town? Like, shouldn't people just find what nonprofit that is really dear to them, do some research, and just be involved with that nonprofit instead of starting up their own nonprofit?
They can. So I'm a business structuralist and a business accelerator and a business mechanic, so to speak. And I always tell people when they start a nonprofit, people have dreams, right? You got to stay in your lane. My nonprofit is in my lane because I know what I'm talking about. People want to have a passion. And sometimes I tell them, open up your nonprofit, go slow, align yourself with a nonprofit that's doing something similar to what you want to do, and add that benefit to their foundation. And that's how you'll grow.
I agree. And what exactly, I know that when we come back from a break, you're going to talk about what you do to help people with businesses. But in regards to nonprofits, if someone wants to open a nonprofit or think about working with other nonprofits? How do you help them?
So I set up the Nevada Nonprofit Corporation or whatever corporation state they're in, and then I help them apply to the IRS for their 501c3, which allows them to not pay taxes on the donations and allows people like us that want to make donations to get the tax write-off. The 501c3 is the tax exemption that you get from the IRS, and the nonprofit corporation is what you file as the entity structure in whatever state you're going to be operating in.
Okay. Well, that's awesome because I think that people need some guidance in regards to these different nonprofits. Like, again, people always say they want to open nonprofits. I think that actually getting with someone like almost a nonprofit consultant, which is what you are, find out what other nonprofits are out there. Like, people don't even know about Adam's Place and other places out there. There's a lot of nonprofits, so I think it's great that they can contact you. And through the Problem Solver, 702-999-1111, they can contact us, and also the QR code on your screen. They can scan, and if they want information, I can connect you to Vicki, who's really helping people solve problems in regards to these nonprofits, getting people the help that they need. So I really commend you for the work that you're doing, Vicki.
Thank you.
We're going to come back with a quick commercial break, and then we'll talk about Vicki, about how she's helping people with businesses. We'll see you in a quick minute. Hey, it's David Kohlmeyer, the Problem Solver. Welcome back. Today we have Vicki Greco talking in regards to her nonprofits and helping people with businesses. I wanted to throw out a topic which I think was really interesting that came out today that I noticed local here in Las Vegas, that minor traffic warrants and also traffic tickets are being decriminalized. Vicki, I know that you have a criminal defense background. What are your thoughts about decriminalizing traffic tickets? Is it going to help our society? Are there going to be less car accidents, less death taking place on the streets of Clark County? Or, it's a big question, or, is it a good thing,
Well, I think it's a good thing. And I just think accidents happen and you can't control that. You can't control people that are speeding. You can't control accidents. My mother and brother were killed in a single car accident. You just don't know. But I do feel that decriminalizing it will help the people clear the burden of going to jail. I can't tell you when I practiced criminal law how many people I would have to bail out for $2,000-$3,000 worth of tickets. I mean, I don't think people are going to stop getting tickets. I don't think people are going to stop not paying for them. I don't think people are going to change the way they speed or drive. But at least they're not going to be treated like criminal and have to go to jail for it.
It's a very interesting topic because honestly, I do a lot of people jail out here in Vegas and Henderson for traffic warrants. It's a really big thing out here. The truth is, it really affects a lot of people, right? Your car goes, your car gets towed. You may have some kids. You're going to go to work. Like, you really screw up society.
If you can't afford to pay your tickets, you can't afford to go to jail, and then you're going to lose your job. And it just makes it makes people that aren't criminals do things that are criminal.
Well, it makes them criminals because they wind up going to jail.
Right.
But one thing that scares me, I just feel that some people, they're going to just know they're not going to go to jail. They're not going to have a warrant. And they're going to just speed and be reckless. I'm a little bit concerned. I think in regards to society.
So reckless is still going to be a criminal charge.
True.
So reckless will still be criminal. And speeding will, from my reading of the new law, will be enhanceable, which means if you get multiple, you will eventually be charged criminal if you keep getting them.
So it'll be interesting. I'm sorry, Dan, jump in.
I just want to go real quick. When I was a cop in Pennsylvania, we never took people in for traffic tickets. Like, when I worked for a defense attorney out here and people were coming in, they were in jail for traffic tickets. I'm like, are you kidding me? What I would do, I would tell a person, hey, you have a traffic ticket. Make sure you go to court tomorrow and take care of it. Go see the judge. Like, if I pulled them over and a traffic ticket came up that they didn't pay, that's what I would tell them.
But out here, because it's a misdemeanor, not a traffic violation, it became a warrant.
That's crazy that it's a misdemeanor. I told
so most people
crazy.
forget about the ticket. The cop stops and, you have a warrant. Like,
well, don't forget, we're living in the Wild Wild West.
Yes. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that traffic tickets out here were a misdemeanor.
I think
it was shocking.
It'll be very interesting. It just makes me a little bit nervous for society that if marijuana is legal and you have alcohol being given out for free on the strip, and now you could just drive on the most part and not really have any type of discipline in regards to your driving. Someone like Laura's going to be driving like crazy all day long, and then our society
I'm so wild.
and the society is just going to get worse. So I'm a little bit nervous. But for regular people, right, they're not going to lose their job, right? They're going to get a ticket. They'll be on their way.
I think because you're in the field of legal and you understand what they're doing with traffic tickets, you're looking at it from the wrong perspective because you're not looking at it from a person that doesn't even understand that they would have got a warrant or that they had a warrant, because 9 out of the 10 people that get arrested for having traffic warrants do not know, in fact, that they have them.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed. I totally agree
So
with that.
I don't think it's going to change the mindset of those type of
and
people.
it only hurts people it hurts poor people. They have trouble paying the ticket, and then they have to go to jail. It's not fair. It's not.
And people like us that are not in that situation know that. But the other people that Dave's worried about, reckless, and people, they don't know that. They don't think like that. They're not they're not in that position to understand it because they don't know people like the problem solver and the crime solver.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens in society. I mean, knock on wood, that basically, I guess it helps people in the long run, because I just feel bad if it's going to wind up increasing violence or death, traffic,
We have horrible
fatalities,
drivers the way it is.
Yeah.
That is
well, the
so
problem is
true.
everyone here.
Oh my
The
God.
problem is everyone here is from a different state, so we all drive
Right.
differently.
And I'm just saying, I don't think the person that's getting in the car that's going to drive and accidentally kill somebody because they're being reckless is thinking, I can go faster because my traffic ticket's not going to go into warrant. That's not on their mind.
Well, if you're on methamphetamine or heroin, you may think differently while you're driving.
You
Illegally.
probably...
You may not be thinking about that anyway.
Yeah, you're
Quick
not
question.
thinking about that.
We're running a little bit out of time. Tell us a little bit how you're helping people with business with your consulting business.
So the name of my business is Silent G Consulting. You'll never forget it. It's silent like the G in lasagna. Never let them see you coming. What we do is we help people set up their business structure. We do, people don't understand when they open a business that there's a difference between a general, a regulated, or a privileged license. We get you the general, the regulated, or the privileged license, not just set up your LLC. We help you with zoning variances. We help with 501c3s. We help with business plans and proposals if you want to go to the bank and get money. And then we also have a business accelerator or a business mechanic problem. If you have a business that you tried to start and it failed, we can tell you why and how to fix it. If you think you want a business but you're not sure what you want to do, you can come to us and we can go through your options and see what your strengths and weaknesses are and help you. And if you have a business that's thriving, but you have a vision of seeing it doing better in 5 years, you can meet with us and we can show you how you can do that, and definitely tell you how you're spending more money than you need to on your business.
All right, so the bottom line is, if you have a business, or actually really want to open a business in general, but they can get with Vicki in regards to your consulting company. You can help them out in general, get started. So again, if you want to contact the problem solver, I'd be more than happy to connect Vicki to help you out. And you do free consultations to help people,
Free
right?
consultations on the phone, yes.
Got it. And if you want to start a nonprofit, same thing. So nonprofit business, the truth is Vicki has a wealth of knowledge in general. So again, the company's name is?
Silent G Consulting. We're on Instagram at Nevada Small Business Consulting. That's our DBA. And we're on Facebook as the same thing, Nevada Small Business Consulting, but silentgconsulting.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vicki, for sharing and sharing a lot of information in general. Thanks so much, Laura, for sharing as well, and Danny for giving the update in regards to what's going on. Especially, nationwide. I just think crime is up, and we need to be on top of it. Make sure you call the police, 911, 311. When people have issues, please report things, especially if you hear some weird sounds in the neighborhood, you hear a scream, you hear an alarm go off. Please notify the police. Call the police. Don't feel weird and awkward by calling the police, because you never know when somebody needs help, especially for this month of December.
If I have a minute, I can tell you why I think crime is going up. I'm very good friends with bail bonds in the state here.
Go for it.
And they've changed the bail requirements, and they're letting everybody out because of overcrowding in the jail system. And so criminals are having the mindset that even if they get picked up, nothing is going to happen because they're getting put back out on the street. So the theory you had about the traffic tickets is actually happening, and that's why crime is going up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a mixture of things, right? You got the marijuana that people are allowed to use now. You got the, alcohol that's given out for free, specifically in the casinos. You got now, decriminalization of traffic tickets, and then the bail reform. You got so much going on. Like, you keep throwing it into the pot, just something's going to explode. And that's why I'm concerned about the community. But again, very good topics, very interesting, debatable topics. Again, thanks so much for joining us today. Problem solver. If you have any problems, give us a call. Scan the QR code. We'll see you next week. Be careful. Be safe.